So many of us call it compassion fatigue, but really what it is empathy fatigue. Now, compassion fatigue was coined by Dr. Charles Finley, and it has two primary components. And those are, one, feeling overwhelmed by too many demands at work, therefore you become emotionally numb to them, and you have to do that to survive. And two, taking work home with you. This is when, the sadness or the numbness or the stress of work gets projected after work and in the home life. Now, he's not wrong about either of those things. And compassion fatigue is the collateral damage of being in a helping profession. You can't be in a helping profession without some level of compassion fatigue. But compassion fatigue is not actually truly accurate. It would be more accurately defined as empathy fatigue. Compassion takes place in our prefrontal cortex. This is the highest developed part of the brain that has a ton of capacity for bandwidth and problem solving, and that is actually where compassion takes place. It's actually extremely hard to overwhelm one's prefrontal cortex. So what's really happening here? What's really happening is that it's actually empathy fatigue. Now, empathy takes place in the amygdala. It's a small almond-shaped part of the brain and is easily overwhelmed. Think about watching a Disney movie like Homeward Bound. If I watch Homeward Bound, I'm probably gonna cry. I'm gonna own it. But afterwards, I'm gonna feel kind of tired for the next hour because I just became emotionally overwhelmed. That's what's happening to us when we're experiencing compassion fatigue. It's actually our amygdala and empathy that is being overwhelmed. So how do we combat these things? Well, two things. One, you have to look at yourself as a compassionate consultant. You have to train yourself to use your brain's prefrontal cortex to solve problems with patients or clients and not become overly emotionally invested to the point where you get compassion fatigue. That's strategy number one. Strategy number two is to increase compassion satisfaction. So we have to look at these on a scale, right? And so how does one increase compassion satisfaction to counterbalance that compassion fatigue? And that is looking at your job in the way that it services others and looking at how those others transform as a result of your work. If you can be outward facing and grateful for those aspects of your job and put your primary focus there, compassion satisfaction will increase. In addition, if you have meaningful work, if you feel valued and important as a part of the team, if you have a great relationship with your immediate supervisor and you have a high level of autonomy at work, those things are also going to raise your level of compassion satisfaction and engagement at work and help be that counterbalance to compassion fatigue, which is inevitable when you're in a helping profession. And with that, thanks for listening.